Yes, brothers and sisters, so we are finally back again for another reaction on this BrBpTV. I might be doing another one of the Mr. Leaks reaction, guys. Tune in for that. Of course, the link of that will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. And of course, with that said, let us get into the vibrations on this BrBpTV by Vibrations. Welcome to each and every one of you guys, and I'm sure you guys are not feeling welcome right now in Dominica because yet we have another power outage, brothers and sisters. And of course, this is as a result of today, September 26, Tuesday, 2023, not 2024. Today, brothers and sisters, as it is advised right there, that areas will be affected, none other than Portsmouth. Portsmouth will be affected yet again today. And it's rather interesting what I'm hearing from a number of folks in Dominica, because they're saying that they're trying to go to businesses. And I don't know, guys, I'm going to give my thought process on why I think this is happening, because it doesn't make sense to me. But of course, I'll give my thought in a moment. In a moment's time. But brothers and sisters, on the basis of this whole thing, people are saying that they are going to businesses, lights are on. When they go in to do something or print something, lights go. So they're telling the customers to come back again, which means that the businesses are being affected because of DOMLEC or what DOMLEC is doing. Or is it really DOMLEC that is doing this? But we'll get into that vibrations right there. But of course, these are the areas that are being affected. Portsmouth Central for today. Portsmouth was also affected yesterday, as you can see, the 25th of September. Portsmouth was also there as well. But anyways, this is today. And of course, today is on the basis of Portsmouth Central, Zikak, Lagos, Sunshine Street, Cabrits, Cabrilla, Bell Hall, Tantan. So will the Continental Resort be affected? Does the Continental Resort have its own generators or whatever, what have you, brothers and sisters? But anyways, let's continue. So you see on the basis of the northern part of Dominica, Southern Pie, Mona Louis, Clifton. So the north, pretty much the whole of the north of Dominica, it seems, except the eastern side of Dominica. Mont Prosper will be cut from 9 a.m. to 4:30. Mont Prosper, Castle, Coptol, Emsall, you know, Mont Bruce. Oh, Mont Bruce too. All right then. Mont Bruce will be affected. Fortune, Kingsale, of course. You can read this stuff for yourself. Egliston. And of course, time 4 p.m. actually to 9:30 p.m. Darkness will take you Roseau areas, brothers and sisters. Hillsborough, Independence Street, Upper Lane, River Street, River Bank, all of it, brothers and sisters. Just look out. And of course, places that are not mentioned, you most likely will get caught as well. You know, things are happening in nature of the Caribbean. But of course, some individuals had this interesting thing to say based off somebody's status right there. I think I go leave Dominica, this individual is saying, for DOMLEC. You know, DOMLEC trying to do whatever it want, affecting people's livelihood to make money. The country's hard, the economy is hard, brothers and sisters. But DOMLEC is also playing a part in that very fiasco right there. And of course, this individual is saying he has enough of it. And of course, an individual replied and said, your PM to blame. Is your PM to blame? I blame in the PM for everything that is happening in Dominica, because they should have known these kind of things would take place. Or the question I must ask, is it really and truly DOMLEC's fault or the Prime Minister? Remember some time back, I think I'll say it now. Remember some time back, the Prime Minister was saying that they are aligned to the New World Order vibes. Remember when they said that? And of course, we know about the global economic, you know, the individuals right there. And they said that the 2030 agenda is to do what? Where the people who own nothing have nothing, and they will be happy, because pretty much the oligarchs will be controlling everything. The rich folks will be controlling everything. So what is similarly happening in the United States, where it seems like they're trying to kill the middle class? An individual actually explained this to me, and it makes sense with all the people coming in, you know, trying to get the jobs. You know, you can easily replace people who have no jobs, who want to get work and willing to just, you know, accept anything. So you have millions of people going into the United States, and you ask yourself, well, why is this happening? And a number of persons, especially when it comes down to the reinstatement of them after the whole Rona situation, that did not happen. They never reinstated them. They were taking other people. So the janitors and all the other individuals who were let go as a result of not taking the job. You have the people, illegal people coming into the country and taking over these jobs. They're paying them under the table from time to time and trying their best to see how they can make other people, the illegal people, come into work. It's very strange what is happening, brothers and sisters. Looking at what is happening in Dominica, I can pretty much see the same sentiment. I mean, you ask yourself, why did they not buy new generators? Why did they not do that? Why did they not? They knew that the equipments were outdated. They knew all these sorts of things. But why didn't they do these things? And I'm gonna get into this a while, guys. You know I wrote already. We'll take it step by step. Anyways, this individual is saying you're PM to blame. Last year, DOMLEC did not do any sort of load shedding. And if Dominicans open their brains up and their eyes, sometimes the eyes are open, but they still cannot see, so they have to open their big brain for them to see. All I have to say on that, DOMLEC, they are doing a blessed job, this individual is saying. So he's pretty much saying it's not DOMLEC's fault, it's the Prime Minister's fault. And with what was stated in times past, that we aligned ourselves with the, brothers and sisters, and look at what's happening. Because why didn't they do this for them to be able to protect the people from what is happening today? Because they could have, no? DOMLEC boasts on how much profits they make. The Prime Minister them obtained DOMLEC again, and yet still it became worse. So if they obtain something to get worse, and initially they stated that they are aligned with an order which is then affecting the people drastically, don't you think there's some sort of interesting scope to that? I think there might be some sort of scope for this. You guys know I always have to bring this thought process just in case that is what is happening. Just in case, if that is happening. Because you cannot tell me you know the water is drying up. You know the water is drying up. Instead of you realizing, hey, we need to go and unclog the pipe so that the pipe can flow properly, you say no. Especially if the pipes are broken or the pipes are not good, they are outdated and need to be replaced. When they finally break up, now you want to say, oh, we're going to get somebody to fix it, when you knew that was happening, but you did not do it. So in other words, that simply means that you probably had the idea to let these things happen to the people. This is why I'm guys, all right then. I just had to point this out right there. All I have to say is that DOMLEC, apparently they're saying, is doing a blessed job keeping Dominicans afloat. Well, DOMLEC might be trying their best, but it seems like DOMLEC not taking the blows, eh? Do you remember when the PM said he will not intervene in DOMLEC's finance, but finance from guts? I believe he did. I believe he definitely did too. Tell me that DOMLEC making all these profits and they're boasting of how much millions of dollars profits, and they cannot buy new generators. What exactly is stopping this from happening? Is it the government? We will see in a moment, brothers and sisters, because we have to ask ourselves questions. And RIC, which is government established, it's not RIC, I think it's IRC this individual is trying to say, which is a point I'm going to be bringing up in a moment. And IRC, which is government establishment, is the biggest cause of DOMLEC not allowed to import new generators, solar systems, etc. We will get into that if that is actually the case right there. All right. So when everybody crying down, I am supporting them 1000%. He says supporting, or she says they support DOMLEC 1000%. And plus the amount of apartments and government buildings in the past year, since government became shareholders of the company, the electrical grid has been overwhelmed with load, and the megawatts isn't enough to uphold the country absorption. Now, there's an important point to draw here, brothers and sisters. I think back in the day, when I say back in the day, I'm talking about before Ross left. Before Ross left, brothers and sisters, Ross was using a lot of power from DOMLEC. A lot of power Ross was using. Ross left. And you would think because Ross leaving would make the consumption of DOMLEC less. Apparently, if Ross was there, we would be in trouble. Because Ross used to consume a lot of power from DOMLEC. A lot of power. They had the generators and thing too when things went off. Yes. But they used to consume a lot of power from DOMLEC. Now Ross is gone. That building is not utilizing the capacity that it used to use back in the day. I mean, you have probably one building they're using now for the new school. You mean to tell me that the kind of capacity Ross was pulling back then, the consumption that Ross was pulling back then, which is no longer there, we had now skyrocket past that, even though Ross is not there? I mean, something has to be wrong somewhere. Something has to be wrong somewhere. So who is to blame, brothers and sisters? That is the big question right there. Now, I must bring you guys to Mr. Carlisle John Baptist. He asked a very important question right there. And of course, we will get into that.
We want to find out as it relates to the IRC. What is really going on? Are they a government institution? Because the information that is forthcoming is that this seems to be the one blocking and preventing DOMLEC from, purchasing the generators that is so required. We need some update on that, Honorable Prime Minister, and also.
Well, if you consider in asking the Prime Minister, and it's a government institution, and the government would pretty much know about it, wouldn't they? They would know about it if but are they the ones causing them to do this? Is the IRC the one responsible for why DOMLEC did not get the new equipments? Is it? Okay, brothers and sisters, I have a very important thing right here. Of course, I got this, information as written September 18th, 2023. The Independent Regulatory Commission, IRC, has been monitoring DOMLEC's capacity management program. Who gave them the authority to manage it? Most likely it has to be a government entity that can manage these things, isn't it? What are your thoughts, guys? Do you think it's government based IRC? All right. Org, I see .org. Okay. Wait, let me see this thing. Anyways, let's continue reading, brothers and sisters. The Independent Regulatory Commission has been monitoring DOMLEC's, recently the Dominica Electrical DOMLEC implemented a series of load shedding schedules in response to limitation in its current capacity. Remember, I told you guys, Ross was there and using a lot of DOMLEC. Ross is no longer there. Yet still we have skyrocketing consumption beyond measure. Why this is? One of the things that I say maybe they're doing some sort of thing in the mountain using computers to do mining, because we know crypto mining, because we know the Prime Minister them say that's something that they want to get into. So if it's something that they want to get into, one of the ways you can actually get into it without losing money is mining. You mine cryptocurrencies. Anyways, brothers and sisters, load shedding is a control. Okay, we know what load shedding is. Okay, let me just read it just in case. Load shedding is a control and temporary measure implemented by utility companies with a capacity shortage that can assist with the management of electricity supply during periods of high demand. So this is probably why. So you're saying that in Portsmouth, when they're doing load shedding, there's no high demand in Portsmouth. That's why they take electricity during that time. This is why a number of persons are complaining, saying they go into businesses. And when they go to these businesses kind of fulfill their duties because they have no electricity. Another question I must ask, brothers and sisters, where did all these generators during Hurricane Maria go? Where did all the generators go? They stop work? Something? I mean, we were hearing the amount of generators that they were bringing in during Hurricane Maria, or after Hurricane Maria. I would expect some sort of generation, but maybe people can afford the gas prices to keep the house going, so they stay in darkness. I don't know. The economy is definitely terrible right there. But the question I must ask, brothers and sisters, is where are the generators that was brought in? Not saying that the generators is a solution to the problem. I think what is happening in DOMLEC needs to be solved, and if IRC is stating that they have been monitoring the load shedding, I don't think that is exactly what they should be monitoring. I think they should be monitoring, hey, getting new generators to bring forward. But of course, let's continue reading right here. Load shedding is a control, blah, 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 electricity, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all right. While load shedding may be a necessary stopgap intervention at this time, the frequency and prolonged disruption in electricity across the island continues to be a negative, or continues to have a negative impact on households and businesses. The Electricity Supply Act of 2006, number 10 of 2006 of the Commonwealth of Dominica guides the IRC it guides the IRC. So most likely, it looks like it's a government organization right there. All right, guides the IRC as it monitors DOMLEC load shedding activities to ensure compliance, blah, blah, with established policies. How are you monitoring the load shedding though? I mean, load shedding is on the basis of, hey guys, we cannot meet the demand for continuous supply, so we therefore have to cut off the electricity. So you're monitoring this. Why not monitor the solution? Anyways, we're gonna get into it a bit. Well, right now, in fact, in 2016, the IRC approved a 1.5 megawatt diesel generator plan for DOMLEC. That was before DOMLEC was acquired, it seems. 2016. When was DOMLEC acquired by the government? Not in 2016 for sure. All right. So apparently IRC did approve 1.5 megawatt. That was 2016 was what? 2016 was 9 years ago. No, 7 years ago. Where's my math? 4 and 3. Yes. So 1.5 megawatt diesel generator plant for DOMLEC out of the 16.5 megawatt generation allowed. So right now there's a capacity or fulfillment. They're saying that is about 7 point something megawatt watt, and they're saying that out of the 16.5 megawatt generation allowed. Interesting. DOMLEC successfully implemented the 1.5 megawatt generator in 2020. Why so long? 4 years later? Oh, because of I guess Maria and a number of others. That could have been an issue right there. In 2020, the IRC also approved the generation license for a 10 megawatt geothermal plant. We know the geothermal plant is not there. So even though IRC did approve this thing, apparently we are not getting any sort of geothermal electricity. So 10 megawatts of geothermal plant for Dominica is non-existent right now. We are not getting any of these 10 megawatts. Are you guys getting it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, I want to be wrong in this one, because I know no geothermal has given Dominica any sort of electricity. So if IRC has improved, they say a successful implementation. No, sorry. In 2020, after they have, successfully implemented the 1.5 megawatt generation, they're saying in 2020, the IRC also approved a generation license for a 10 megawatt geothermal plant for the Dominica Geothermal Development Company of Dominica. In 2022, the compliance with the national energy. So was this successful? I didn't see anything about success there. Anyways, in 2022, the same year, in compliance with the national energy policy, the IRC awarded DOMLEC the project to develop a 5 megawatt solar plant at Taru. Was that developed? Do we have a solar plant in 2022? Well, sometimes it's going to take 4 years, because when they give the 1.5 to thing, that was implemented 4 years later, which makes sense because you had, Maria happening and you had the whole Rona situation. So that makes sense why it took a little while. No, it doesn't make sense because this is 2020. They could have implemented it, but then you had Hurricane Maria that did a number. So that's understandable, brothers and sisters. But of course, in 2022, they of course look to approve a 5 megawatt solar plant at Taru. Was that established? We don't know if that is the case. The IRC has. So before I continue, brothers and sisters, so we know that there are generations out there. Okay, they call them generators. I'll call them generators, but they say generations. Generators, brothers and sisters. They have generators out there which are outdated. Why don't we just look to replace these generators and then implement these other things? We are in a present predicament right now where load shedding is taking place, and it has increased. It hasn't decreased, it has increased. Remember, they were only taking one at a time. They were taking, and now they're taking 3 times in the day. 3 times. They take Portsmouth yesterday. They're taking it today. I want to see if they'll take it tomorrow as well. So these things has not yet been implemented. So IRC can see that they have provided measures for which, DOMLEC can then, go ahead and have these things. But you're talking about 10 megawatt for geothermal, which is non-existent. And you have 5 megawatts of solar power in Taro that is non-existent. We are not getting power from this. The only thing we have is hydroelectricity. And of course, a number of we heard about the situation in Trafalgar, where somebody must have did some malice to the thing. And what exactly is going on, brothers and sisters? What exactly is going on? So although IRC has approved a number of things, I think the better thing that they should have done is to replace the old generations or generators there. Because although you're saying that you want to put 15 megawatts through solar and to geothermal, 15 megawatts, it is not existent today. Is it existent today? Do we have 10 megawatts of geothermal happening right now? We getting power from it? The 5 megawatts of solar panel power, are we getting any of that? Are we? Maybe some of all you're getting, but I know I haven't gotten when I was there. Okay, this is 2022, we in 2023. Maybe it'll be built in 2026, so who knows? The IRC has been working with both DOMLEC and the Ministry and I guess the electricity ministry with responsibility for energy, okay, to properly address the issues involved in DOMLEC's current capacity problem. IRC's consideration for approving added generation capacity must be aligned to the national resilient development. Why is there so much things if we know what needs to be done? The lady in charge of DOMLEC or whatever she is, she came and said it's clear that we have outdated machines and we need proper machines. If IRC is the one regulating these bodies for energy, I think it's IRC's fault, even though you approved 15 megawatts of solar and hydro, which is not existent. That will come later on, but you need to get the new generations in to meet the capacity. What are we going to wait for donkey years for us to get it? We have to wait for 4 years. Not saying that I say maybe as a result of the 2016 one, why the 1.5 megawatt diesel generation was not implemented was because of disasters that happened, which makes sense. But things in Dominica can be very slow. It can be very slow because donkey years we're working on geothermal. Donkey years. Well, I think the best idea would be, IRC, like you stated there, you're working to provide additional or considering for approving additional generation capacity must be aligned. But why should it be aligned with national resilient development strategy when we know that is what is needed? The lady on the top spoke and say, hey guys, we need new generation, we need new generators to provide the megawatts that will meet the needs of the 17 point whatever, which is rather interesting because if Ross was there, we'd have been 25 megawatts, man. But brothers and sisters, something very interesting is going on here. And why should it be aligned? And I understand there are rules and all this kind of national resilience. Who that make that? We had that before, Mariana. National Resilience Development Strategy. Throw that away. We know what is needed. Bring them new generation of generators and replace those old ones, the outdated ones that doesn't produce the capacity that we need. If one generation of generator is supposed to generate about 1 megawatt, and because it's outdated, it's generating about 500 whatever they call it, half of that. If it's generating half of that thing needs to go. It needs to be a backup. Bring the new ones and let the old ones be backed up. Because it going anyway. It's not true. It going. It needs to be replaced. We're talking about 10 megawatt of geothermal and 5 megawatt that non-existent today. And we think, Kasa, come on. The IRC and DOMLEC have started the electricity rate review process. Why don't we have electricity first and then we can talk about the rates afterwards? No, we need it. Anyways, any future purchase of diesel generators now will negatively impact electricity rates for all customers. So where all the money that was being created, the millions of dollars that could have bought these generators, where all the millions of dollars that could have bought these generators? You are telling me that IRC and DOMLEC have studied the electricity rate review process, and on the basis of that, any future purchase of what is actually needed, the generators, will bring forth another level of expense to the people of what is needed to provide the capacity. Furthermore, if you're using running water, brothers and sisters, and using electricity, and there's a thing that turns into time how much water you're using, it's not so dumb like runs now. They have the turning thing to see how much you use. So where did millions of dollars go? Where did the millions of dollars go, brothers and sisters? Anyways, that's some questions I think we need to ask ourselves. The IRC is supporting the national efforts to find the most effective solution to the current crisis. The current crisis is most likely as a result of IRC. And maybe the government is the one who said, hey, this is what we're doing right there. That's the only thing that makes sense, brothers and sisters, because this is affecting the generation of people, generations of people, a plethora of people. And if this is affecting a plethora of people and the government is doing things that is not necessarily adding to the betterment of the people, we have less. Not replace all the millions you make into make replacements. No, where was the millions? Where were these millions gone? Where have they gone to? Did the government take the money? This is probably why this individual is making a statement that he believes that the government had some sort of interference with the funding of it right there. The person stated this. Do you remember the PM said he will not intervene in DOMLEC finance? This person is saying from their guts, they believe that the Prime Minister them did. And if that is the case, then obviously we already know who is to blame. I understand IRC is trying their best to see if they can, regulate stuff, but we know what's needed to be done. I cannot fathom the understanding that we know what needs to be done, but we're not doing it. I understand you approve things for the future, but we're living in the present. So are we going to do? Wait for the geothermal to become successful to create the 10 megawatts and the solar that they need to get to put in Taro so that we can get the 5 megawatts. Are you going to wait for that when we can get the generators, install them, and have the capacities, have the people meeting the capacities? Businesses are mad right now. There was even a statement that I saw on Facebook where an individual is saying, well, based off the loss that all businesses are taking because of DOMLEC, there needs to be a class lawsuit against DOMLEC. Or should it be DOMLEC though, brothers and sisters? Should it be? Because DOMLEC is the one doing these things to the people directly, but those who are in charge of this whole thing might be the ones doing this. IRC is regulating, so they have a part to play in this, but who exactly is telling IRC what to do? Because you cannot tell me you make millions of dollars in profits and did not buy new generators, but you come in now and tell the people that if DOMLEC if we have to buy new diesel generators or whatever generators, that is going to be incurred on the people again. So higher prices now going to be on the people, which is already high. Matter of fact, at present, Dominica has the highest electrical price in the world. I read this on an article. I don't know if it's 100%, but it's at United States, and United States was one. But they had Dominica and United States. I think it was in 2016 or some 2016 or 2018. One of them, they were on equal par. Dominica is the highest now. Come on, I read. No, brothers and sisters, I think we need to understand this how this thing is going. No, they want to increase prices for generators that they need to get to replace their present generators that are not good, and the understanding will be to sort of increase prices on the people. And I remember when labor rights was saying they're not going to pay high electricity, they're not going to be paying electricity again. Guys, like I studied yesterday, it's best they give DOMLEC back for free. Give it back. That was a terrible idea to go and take DOMLEC, buy back at 13% less than the asking price. Marquesa, give it back for free. Let these people who are running it run it for us, because apparently when they were running it, it was better. We have never paid this kind of high prices we have ever paid in our lives for electricity in Dominica. Already wages are not going up like that. Trying to equate to the rising inflation of just money value itself. That self is another topic. So I'll leave that alone. Anyways, this individual was saying the IRC. No, guys, I'm not blaming IRC fully. Whoever is in charge of IRC seems to be the one regulating this. Because what needs to be done is new generators. The IRC is committed to ensuring consumers in Dominica, customers, receive the highest quality of electricity. Who you telling that there? Who? You telling that there? Who? We receiving the highest quality electricity? Brothers and sisters, we're living in modern times, going into more modern times, and it's worse we getting. We? How is this the highest quality of electricity at fair and affordable rates while maintaining the financial viability of DOMLEC? Not millions of dollars profit DOMLEC has been making. The IRC is extremely concerned about it's just like when DOMLEC come in and say we deeply are sorry for any inconvenience caused. They don't care if your thing burn. They're just telling you they are sorry just in case. But if it burn, you have to go and buy your thing. No, not them that going to buy it for you, no. You'd have to go and buy your thing for yourself, you know. So telling the people you are concerned about the issues and you know what needed to be done. I know the solution. I know the solution. Take some of the monies that were the profits I will make to buy the new generators, to then create the capacity that people need. And it's based off the cycle of people using more. If people were using 10, if people were using 100 before, right? And now they're using 150. This scale doesn't stop on 100 and then they get in the rest 50 free, you know. It continues to 150. So if the capacity increasing, obviously the electricity bill will increase. But no, you're looking at the rate. So if they was paying $100 for 100 now, you're saying they should pay 120 for 100 and then the increase past, they're going to pay the same thing. So they have to pay $60 on the $50. I mean, make it make sense for me now. Make it make sense. Or do you think Dominica is a place that have plenty money, man, or something? I can't understand that. The IRC is extremely concerned. How? You know that the Independent Regulatory Commission has legal authority to regulate the electricity sector. You remember that? About the IRC. The IRC, Independent Regulatory Commission, has the legal authority to regulate the electricity sector in accordance with the Electricity Supply Act. The IRC was established to ensure that consumers in Dominica receive the highest quality of electricity, and we're not getting it. Businesses have been affected. I mean, it's one thing when people have their homes and they stay in their home in darkness. But when businesses, people going to do things that they need to get done, and the businesses are telling you, hey guys, I'm sorry, we are not able to produce this because we don't have electricity. Whose fault is that? Isn't it our IRC or whoever is in charge of IRC? Since you are the ones regulating DOMLEC. When I first read this thing, I was like, I'm gonna come for the person, but then upon getting more information in that regard, my whole thing changed. The whole thing changed. Anyways, brothers and sisters, IRC has this step that they say in steps to file complaint about your electricity supply. Somebody probably know what I was going to say. Report the matter to DOMLEC first. Refer the matter to IRC if it remains unresolved within 30 days. I think the whole of Dominica should just report it to think we have to wait 30 days. Okay then. IRC will provide guidance and investigate. But if all you are the ones regulating, the problem should not be DOMLEC, it should be all you. Because DOMLEC knows what they need. Everybody knows what DOMLEC needs. It is already stated, and I'll state it again, that they're saying that we have outdated equipments and therefore need new updated ones. They are outdated and they are old and need to be thrown away or put at a back burner or something. No, you want to approve geothermal and solar, and don't get me wrong, these are good. I don't like the geothermal one because I know the geothermal can affect the environment, which is probably why the freshwater lake is dropping. But since all you know what's going on underground, I'm very happy for the solar stuff that you want to do. Congratulations, yes, that is needed. But at present reality, we need to do things that is needed to meet the demand, Missy Queen. Come on, man. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they're checking, okay, we're going to try to see if we can get the geothermal and the solar, so we're not going to get the new equipments to keep in line with what is going on, because we already put some monies into geothermal and solar. But we know that these things are not there, so all you couldn't say, okay, let's replace some of them. I mean, some of the generations are generating 500 and they're supposed to be generating 1,000. I mean, couldn't we say, okay, let's replace those so we can get the ones that generating 1,000, you know, so at least more capacity can be produced. I mean, that's logical sense to me. But anyways, whoever is in charge of IRC, if it's the government, they say they have the legal authority to regulate, establishing protecting the national environment. How are you protecting the national environment? If you have 100 generators, okay, if you have 10 generators, and 5 of them not producing properly, you replace the 5, you'll still have 10. you get back to a level of capacity that can be produced. Brothers and sisters, it may be just me, but anyways, they have this thing right there. So if you want to make, you know, complaints, this is it right there. Okay, guys, I just send this stuff for you guys. Stepped in filing. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? You think it's DOMLEC's fault, or you think it's IRC's fault? Because when I heard this,
is that this seems to be the one main institution, because what's going on? What is really going on? Are they a government institution? Because what I mean is that this seems to be the one blocking and preventing DOMLEC from.
He said DOMLEC. But brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts, man? These are just my thoughts. No matter what are your thoughts, leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. Who exactly is at fault? DOMLEC or IRC or the government that purchased DOMLEC? Who exactly is at fault? What are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. And of course, this is all it was for this year BrBpTV reactions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Boom,